Gonna have fun with this discussion
Okay.
because you are my daughter.
hmm
You are 18 years old,
hmm
and in about 2 weeks, you are going off to college. And I'm so proud of you. You have been an incredible kid. Like, you've been easy. You've never given me a hard time. You never gave your mom a hard time. And so we're both really proud of you. And I have to say that your plan in life is to go to law school, right?
hmm
And so you got into Suffolk University
hmm
and you're doing the pre-law program, which it's 3 years undergrad, and then you start law school your fourth year.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of like qualifying factors of just being like if you're able to do all of this stuff by that time, then that's when you would start law school your fourth year.
Okay.
hmm
So I think it's really interesting how we started talking about you becoming a lawyer. And I just remember one time dropping that point. I think you were arguing back with me about something and you had a really good argument. And I said to you, you should really think about going to law school. And then you got really interested in FBI stuff. And then you
hmm
started buying those cases
Yeah.
that right that you like I walked into your room one day and you
hmm
on your bed you had this whole murder case laid out and you were inputting information into an app and you were like, Dad, look at this. I'm solving this case. And I remember asking you, how long is it going to take? And you said it's going to take about 3 days. And I thought, wow, okay, well, you've got to have a lot of dedication, be really interested in case solving. And so at that point, again, I was like, you should go to law school. And you're like, I'm going to join the FBI. So out of curiosity, right? How did you, high school kid, make that decision or come to that conclusion that maybe law school is something I want to do?
Well, I thought the FBI was really cool because I never wanted to have like a 9 to 5, like sit down, like desk job. So I was, I thought the FBI was really cool, like being in the field. And then I did like a lot more research about like once I kind of started getting older and I realized that there was a lot more that you had to do, such as kind of like be a police officer, which is something that I don't want to do. And so I kind of was like, okay, what's like my next like option? And then a lawyer was what I kind of settled on. Because the FBI was kind of just like you are like you're working for the government and then you're like it's just the way that it is. Like you don't make good money when you work for the government like that. Like I think I remember the starting salary was about $50,000 a year. And I'm like, there's no way that I can like start on that. Plus, you're also doing all of these things. Like I wouldn't be able to join until I was at least 30.
What do you mean?
Like because you have to have like all of these years of experience as like I think it's like a police officer, just like something like along the lines of that. But you have to have like a certain amount of experience to join.
To eventually start being an agent,
Yeah,
managing
exactly.
cases, right?
Mhm.
Getting out in the field, solving crimes, that sort of thing, right? So
Yeah,
you've got to have a lot of
a lot of experience.
experience in crime management and
Mhm.
education and all those things, right? So,
Yeah, you can't just go in right after or college.
so I mean, isn't law kind of the same thing where you have to go through a lot of law school
It
and
is
then
the same thing, but I feel like with law, it's kind of like you can like once I'm out of law school or college and law school, then I can start actually interning and be in a law firm. Does that
what
make
kind of
sense?
lawyer do you want to be?
I don't know yet.
No?
I haven't gotten that far.
I thought you said at one point you wanted to be a criminal lawyer.
Well, I kind of want to be criminal, but like I feel like corporate would be cool. Um,
I
I don't know.
worked with I worked with a lot of corporate lawyers and listen, I might be wrong here, but I remember always sending them documents, and they would sit and read document after document after document behind a desk. And that to me did not look like a lot of fun.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
You make a lot of money, maybe, but
Yeah.
all right. So you mentioned a little bit ago that as an FBI agent, you make $50,000 a year starting. So
Mhm.
obviously, money is a driver for you in this decision.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be like a government lawyer or anything, right?
Yeah.
You want to go right into the big
Hmm.
bucks. All
Yeah.
right. I mean, I guess I taught you well, right?
Hmm.
So I appreciate that we're doing this podcast, right? Or having
Hmm.
this discussion. I hate to keep saying that I'm doing podcasts because I don't consider myself a podcaster. I I've been interviewing and talking to people and having discussions with people who have undergone this incredible transformation, right? Just the regular people that, can talk about how their lives have changed and, through tragedy or, whatever it might be. And so I've had discussions with a few people and I've been posting these and, sure, if it's a podcast, great. If it's not, great. But you and I talked about doing this earlier in the summer, right?
Hmm.
So we're about 4 or 5 months down the road. You're getting ready to start school, but I asked you to do this, to have this discussion with me because I've been out of corporate for a year,
Yeah.
right?
Has it been more
And
than a year?
it's
I
been
feel like
more
it's,
than a year.
yeah.
I have been out of corporate America for
It's
more
been
than
like
a
a year
year.
and a half.
What's that?
It's been like a year and a half. 2 years almost.
It's about a year and 4 months,
Oh.
probably. Yeah, it's been a while. So
Yeah. Yeah.
so you lived with me through high school,
Hmm.
and at one point I was traveling every 2 weeks to Plano, Texas. So I would wake up on a Monday morning around 2 o'clock, drive to Boston from
Hmm.
Rhode Island, catch the 5:30 a.m. flight, fly into Plano, walk straight into my office, work all day, leave work, go have dinner with my team, or go back to the hotel, have dinner, continue working, and do it all over again Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, and then catch the last possible flight out, get back to Logan at midnight, which was the time my 7 p.m. out of Dallas flight always landed, and then drive back and get home around 2 in the morning, and then get up at 7 a.m. on Thursday or Friday and do it all over again. And I would just work those long hours, right? And I'm kind
Hmm.
of positioning this because you know that that's the way my life was,
Yeah.
right? And
Mhm.
so I don't do that anymore,
No.
right? I keep busy, but I keep busy doing things that are important to me personally. And so you and I had that discussion several months ago, and you said something that really struck me. And you said, Dad, you are a completely different person today. You
Hmm.
have become a completely different person. And so I wanted to get you, on record to talk
Hmm.
about that because I think that the challenge a lot of us in corporate America or entrepreneurs or anybody who's involved in business, there's something that we miss. And I feel I missed it. I think you're about to call me out on it, or you have called me out on it. But I want to talk about that from your perspective, from the perspective of the family member, from the perspective of the child who's
Hmm.
dealing with a parent who has dedicated their life to their career and has poured their life into a career, and we miss something. And you have
Hmm.
called me out on it. So I want to hear from you, you know, what's changed about me, but what did you experience?
Do you, do you want to start from when we were living together or
Yeah.
from when I was a child?
Start wherever you want.
I think like when I was younger and when I was like living with mom, because I would live with mom during the week, and then on the weekends I would stay with you. But I think like a lot of it, like just what I always remember like as a child is you were just always on your computer. You were always on your phone, you were always calling, you were always on your computer no matter where we were. Like even swim meets. My swim meets, you would always be working even if it was a Saturday or Sunday. And like you were I think that's honestly like a key like point or not like I don't want to say point or like memory, but just like I always remember you being on your computer and always working. And then I think like even when we would come to Florida sometimes, like you would just always be working no matter what. Like I only and you were always tense. Every like you were always tense no matter what. And I kind of learned that more once we started living together my sophomore year was like I felt like and granted I was not the perfect child. I wasn't doing everything right.
You were
I'll
good.
admit that. I'll admit that. But it was like I was always walking on eggshells. It was like a ticking time bomb. Like one little thing, I stepped one like pinky toe out of line and it was it boom.
But I wasn't like an angry person, right? I would just kind of,
You would, and I honestly think this is my full-hearted, honest opinion. I think that because it was just me and you in the house, when you were angry or tense about something with work, I was your punching bag. I
okay.
was I was the one who was there that you could take you could just take it all out on. And I don't really like I know you didn't mean anything by it. I know it wasn't on purpose, but I just feel like that's because we were the only ones in the house. That's just how it was.
So give me an example of how I projected that frustration with work, that tensity. Like, how did I project that on you? Now, give me an example.
I'm trying to think. Like it was just
I mean, I remember one time, right? And this was
Mhm,
probably one of the last huge fights we got into. I had been traveling to
mhm,
Texas. I came back like 2 in the morning,
mhm,
and things that I asked didn't get done.
mhm,
And those were things I know that I would get really frustrated about because I just needed the help,
mhm,
right? I would fly to Texas and you would help with the dogs. You would stay with the dogs. So,
mhm,
at 16, 17, you were staying home alone for a week
mhm,
and taking care of the house and the dogs and going to school and working, right? And so, um, and I remember I came home that one time and I just exploded. And I remember the feeling. I was just frustrated because I felt I needed the help.
mhm,
And from my perspective, I thought, I'm paying you a lot of money
mhm,
to watch the dogs, and all I need is just help with organization when I get home because then I just thought I'd find myself doing that. But that was kind of the last straw for both of us.
mhm.
How did you interpret that experience?
I'm trying to remember if that like I mean that happened like all the time. Like you like
Okay.
granted, like I will fully admit, I have no issue admitting it that you're right. I didn't do stuff around the house. I also think that what heightened it, like the emotions was because you were traveling, because you were getting home at 2 o'clock in the morning. You were going for days straight with like 4 or 5 hours of sleep a night. And I think and that was also, I feel like this was also a lot of like, this was always my sophomore and junior year. I don't think this is an excuse, but I had just transferred to Barrington. I was like also dealing with like a lot more stuff. And I think we had never lived together either. This is a brand new thing as well, especially
So
like,
on that note, right, I've never been married,
mhm,
and suddenly it was like the pelican. dropped a 16-year-old girl at my house, and I was
Exactly.
thinking, whoa, what do I do now? Right. And so it
Mm-hmm.
was a huge learning curve for me while I'm, navigating this great career track that I'm on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like also the thing it's like living with you and living with mom are two totally different things. So it's like I was so used for 16 years growing up the way that in mom's house, and then all of a sudden the Pelican drops me at Barrington, and now I'm there 5, 6 days a week for a
But
year.
come on, it was easy living
No,
with
it
me.
was easy.
Like,
It
I
very
didn't get in
much.
your business. I didn't.
No, 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 no. And I will give you the credit for that till the day I die. But it was just always like I feel like there was just always so much tension. It was always tense in the house. It was always tense.
Like, did you just feel that you would always do something wrong and I
Yes, it
go
was
off the
always
deep
kind
end?
of like I really never felt like I could do anything right. And it was like if I did, even if I did this, I did it wrong, or there was something else I could do. Like, yeah.
But that's kind of been the case our whole lives, right? Remember when I would say to you, Sarah, everything has a solution. Everything, like, and if you
Hmm.
couldn't figure out a solution, I would be like, Sarah, come on, like you like find the answer to this problem,
Hmm.
right? Just was that's just the way I've always been. So, all right. So going back to what you said earlier, in that I was always on my computer, I was always working. I do remember doing that at your swim meets, and I'm so sorry about that. I literally remember taking my computer to your travel meets and watching you do your 3-minute swims. And then rather than sitting in the gym or the auditorium and talking to you, I would go somewhere and work.
Hmm.
And I think about that and I look back at that and I cringe thinking that that's how I was. Was there, did that feel normal to you at the time,
Yeah.
or it did?
Yeah. It was just kind of like, oh yeah, like dad's working. Did mom ever say anything to you?
No, she didn't. She
Hmm.
just would let me go and do what I
Yeah.
needed to do.
I think with mom, I think it was just kind of like, I think the only thing that, like, at that point, mom was just happy that you were there.
But I was always there, wasn't
No,
I? Like that,
you
I
were. No,
always,
no, no. I'm not saying that in like
yeah,
a bad way. I think it was just kind of like she was like, okay, like he's here, he's still watching her swim, but when she's not swimming, he's working, whatever. Like, you know
okay,
what I'm saying?
okay. So, and oh, and I remember when I was going to school. Remember that when I was getting my master's degree?
Oh my God.
I remember I was working full time and I was going to school full time.
Yeah.
And I remember you would come over on weekends. You'd come over on a Friday,
Hmm.
and my team and I would start working at 6 o'clock, and you'd see me on the computer. And I remember at like 10 o'clock at night, guys, I need a 30-minute break. I need to go and put my daughter to bed. And we'd lay down for a little bit and just chat it up. And then you'd wake up the next morning to get water, whatever it was, at like 6 in the morning, and you'd see me on the computer again.
Hmm.
And I know it seemed like a never-ending thing, right, for
Yeah.
you. Um, and I hope that to some extent, though, you saw the work ethics, or maybe
Yeah.
that was too extreme. But did you ever see that as, and as like this is an example of like how you should
I
work, or
think
did you
at
see it as a
that
bad
point,
thing?
I think at that point, like I was still like so young.
Okay.
I didn't really understand. I mean, like maybe now, like now I see it, like looking back. But I think back then I was too young to really understand. And in my head, it was just always like, oh, dad's always on the computer. Dad's always, and I knew what you were doing. I knew you were either working or school or whatever. But at that time, it was just kind of like, okay, like dad's doing his school, dad's working.
Okay.
Like I was really too young to understand like the deeper. like the work ethic behind it. Because I was in what, third, fourth grade,
Yeah.
maybe? Yeah.
So you just you thought it was just this is the way it is. This is
Yeah.
right. Okay. So let's fast forward to 2024. Everything I poured my heart into cut me off. I
Mhm.
was let go. I was part of a layoff. And fast forward a year later, and you and I had this conversation several months ago, and you looked at me and said, Dad, you are so much better today
Mhm.
than when you were in corporate America. And I remember you asking me, please don't go back to corporate America.